there's not really much community anymore. But we
It's
need to
all
come back together.
me, isn't it?
We need to come back together and help each other, say hello to each other in the mornings. If someone said hello to you in the morning, people be like, are they mad? Like, what?
Bespoke Minds Podcast, a place where we actively discuss mental health, self-care and healing, share stories to enhance our insight in an interactive way. Hello and welcome to Bespoke Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Cornelia CK. And in today's episode, we have a very special guest, the one and only Georgina Bobb.
Yeah!
Yes, girl!
I'm actually so excited to be here. It's absolutely like ridiculous.
No,
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. You have no idea. Like, you are such a media guru.
Thank
and I'm
you,
so
darling.
excited. I'm so excited. I think we'll be smiling all day today.
Literally, we're gonna be like, oh my God. But yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't know you, you are a powerhouse.
Oh,
you
bless
are,
you.
and you're so humble with it. So listen,
Oh,
it's
bless
only
you.
right. Like, if you don't know Georgina, she's gonna definitely drop some gems today, and you will know of her by today.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you could tell us a bit about yourself.
So my name is Georgina Bobb. I'm a freelance television production manager, and I've worked within the television industry for, say, 15 years. I started off my career in music promos, and then I entered the industry and then worked my way up from runner to production manager. I also run my own business, which is Georgina Bobb TV. And there I help support clients that want to enter the industry, whether it be people that are new, like graduates or students. And essentially what I do is I help them through my career services, such as CV writing, cover letter writing. I coach them. I also put on training in employability and production management as well. And I've also just recently branched into the presenting and the on-screen sort of arena. So I'm developing a presenting training masterclass, which I'm also offering too. And yeah, I've just been around in the industry for a long time. I'm pretty outspoken, very passionate about true inclusion and diversity within the industry. And yeah, I've been on TV a few times, talking about sort of mental health, etc. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
It's only right. But we're all going to get into it. Don't worry, we're going to get into it. But before we get started, we're going to play a game which is called Break the Ice.
Okay,
so it's an icebreaker game. So I'm going to say 2 words.
Yeah.
Or 2 opposites sometimes, or 2 words.
Yeah.
And then you state your preference and tell me why.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So first one, pleasure or pain?
Pleasure.
Clearly, obviously, yeah. But you know what? Some people like pain. You know when you get those acts and they do, bungee jumping and they get adrenaline, or they stick needles up 100%. Themselves.
I try and steer clear from pain, but I understand how pain can be a motivation.
Yes.
Pain can be a motivation, and in terms of pain, in terms of my life, obviously I've experienced pain. I think everybody that's a human being has experienced pain in their life. And the pain that I have experienced has actually pushed me to achieve in life.
Absolutely.
So I would say pain, but also pleasure, because pleasure is great, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're not alone. I think I've also experienced my fair of hardships as
bless
well.
you.
But self-inflicted pain is not for me. I think, that's not on my forte, but definitely pleasure.
Pleasure. Hey.
Peace or success? Which is more meaningful to you?
What's more meaningful? That is, do you know what? Yeah. Peace or success? I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
To be fair, can I say both?
You can.
The reason why I say both is because peace is fundamental to like anyone who's going through or has experienced any type of mental health or any type of like wrong happening in their life or what have you. Peace is something that we all strive for, and I'm at peace, and it's a lovely way of being. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And success. Yeah.
No,
success is success, period. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, I definitely second that, because like you said so perfectly, peace can lead to success, and it's all individual. It's all individual. Success varies from person to person. So talking about mental health, a person having peace, that in itself is a success.
100%. And I think, success is a beautiful a beautiful thing. Like when you're successful, it's like, I'm on top of the world. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like successful people strive to be even more successful. And with success comes peace as well. So it's all relatable.
It's true. But then there's that misconception as well. Some people think that in order for them to be successful, they have to have peace. But then we've seen, again, like in the media, and some people who unfortunately, take their life, they're successful, but they have no peace.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. I think it's down to the individual. And sadly, there are circumstances where that is the case. But for me, I would say that I always plow on the same sort of roadmap, as in you have to be peace. Peace is more important than success.
Oh, 100%.
Do you get what I mean? Peace is more important than success, purely because you need to be at peace with yourself before everything else is irrelevant. It's about being at peace with yourself, and that is the first port of call regarding happiness. And do you know what, this conversation has really made me think like how blessed like I actually am, and how lucky I am. Obviously someone that's achieved success in the industry, but at the same time I have experience with mental health. It's just made me realize that actually I'm not doing too bad.
You are doing
and
amazing.
I really want to help other people understand that just because you might have a mental health condition or not, you can still achieve. Like, you can still achieve, be at peace and be successful. Do you get what I mean? Because I'm an example of that. And not only that, you can do it. It's just all about self-belief. If you believe in yourself, anything is possible.
100%. And you are a shining example of that.
Thanks,
you really are.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You're going to get your flowers today. I'm dropping you all your flowers.
Now. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah.
So do you prefer your childhood or adulthood?
Oh, that's a good question. I prefer both. The only reason why I say that is because my childhood was literally up and down, up and down, up and down. So I had a bit of trauma, like, it's so weird, because like most people are like, oh my gosh, you had trauma in your childhood. And some people are like, yeah, that's standard. Everyone's like had a mad childhood or whatever. But for me, it's kind of like I've had trauma, but I've also had such a lovely childhood as well. I've had like a bit of mixture.
Okay.
So in terms of my childhood, I was actually brought up in foster care for a couple of years. And then after that, I actually went and lived with an auntie who looked after me for like 7 years. And like, she really did provide me with everything that I possibly could have. Like, I had the best
So you didn't
childhood.
at all? No, that's fantastic.
So it's like I had a bit of trauma, but then I've had like, that moral, the ethics, the like, just like a loving and safe environment to grow and succeed and achieve and be happy and play as a child. And I think having that in my life as an experience has been so key and important to me. So big up, auntie. You know who you are. So yeah, big love.
Yeah.
Big love to all my parents, everything. But yeah, so that's my childhood. Anyway, talking about my adulthood, I would say I've loved being independent. I think independency is just so key. Like, as an adult in your 20s, you're like just kind of like finding your feet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you are, definitely.
But then like, I'm in my mid to late 30s, believe it or not.
Still looking good.
No, I'm in my mid to late 30s, but I have to say that like, I love my 30s. I think my 30s are my best adult years, purely because you understand who you are.
Yes.
You know what you like, what you don't like, what you want in life, etc. So I would definitely say that.
Yeah, and you get to maximize that independence. You have the finances and the means to do what you want. You've got the liberty, you've got the freedom,
100%.
and you're more comfortable within your skin, isn't it?
Yeah,
with the trials and errors of life.
100%. And I think as an adult, you learn from your mistakes and you grow like so much easier than you would as a 18-year-old or a 25-year-old. And also when you're like in your mid to late 30s, for me, it's like I'm present in every moment. So I learn from each sort of element of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That makes absolute sense. And lastly, for this segment, do you prefer the UK or the US?
What, in music?
Just in general, in terms of place, in terms of influence, in terms of whatever you want it to be.
I'm not going to lie to you. I've been to America. I've got family in America. And I love the UK. Well, I don't love the UK. I'm from the UK. I would probably have to give it to the US. Only because it's an unknown for me, because I've never actually lived there, but I've been there a few times. And from what I've seen and from what I've experienced in the US, it's like, it's the Big Apple. It's like London or England, but it's blown. It's like everything's big. Yeah. Massive. So it's like, I would say US. And also like, I just like the culture of the US.
Do you feel... Sorry, go ahead.
And go on.
No, you go.
And also with UK, it's like, I'm proud of being from London. I'm a South East Londoner, born and bred. I love where I'm from. But at the same time, it's like looking at a different culture. Obviously, where I'm not a US citizen, I don't know what it's like because I don't know it. I'm like, I'll go to US or whatever, but I would probably say US, definitely.
Okay, that's very interesting.
And also, there's a lot more opportunities in the US as well for like media people and stuff.
I was just going to touch on that as well, because what people mainly say is US has more opportunities than UK.
Definitely.
And we're going to go into that a bit, or you can go into it now even,
no problem.
in a sense of the fact that you've been so successful within your media career within the UK is kind of like you've broken a lot of the stereotypes and all the barriers.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. I mean, I would say so. But also, in regards to the UK industry, the television industry in the UK is very small. Everyone knows each other. Everyone knows who does what. Everyone's doing their companies, their roles. Everyone knows each other. If you're in the TV industry specifically, it's very, very small. Okay? In the US, I've heard stories of comedians, actors jump ship to the US and have just blown purely because there's just so much more opportunity and more respect for diverse and Black talent within the US media industry than the UK media industry. The UK media industry, in my opinion, it's dynamic. I love it, but it's just, it bangs the beat of the same drum of diversity inclusion, but it's just banging the drum.
Yeah. So it's just there in theory, but in practice, it's not really there, is it?
Basically. So I would say that.
So is that something that you would like to explore in the future, perhaps expanding into the US?
Well, do you know, I've never really thought of it, you know.
Oh, this is,
I've never really thought
food
of
for
it.
thought now.
I'm a traveller. I have travelled.
Yeah.
Like, I've travelled to quite a few different places. I've been to the US, Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, etc., etc., etc. But I would say that if I was ever given the opportunity to work in the US, I would snap it up like that.
But you're very social, very international, very vibrant.
Oh,
I see you going above and beyond, 100%.
Oh, thank you.
100%.
I absolutely would love it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love it. I would take the chance, like, go for it with, like, take the ball with both hands.
I can definitely
I would literally go for it. Yeah.
I can. So don't limit yourself. It's going to happen.
Thank you.
It's going to happen.
Oh.
So we're going to move on to another segment called Moments of Truth, which is Have You Ever? Just some free have you ever questions.
Okay.
Have you ever been stuck abroad?
Not stuck.
I'm already laughing.
Stuck abroad, but there was a situation where I was with a group of friends and there was a bit of trouble and we was like, oh my God, what the hell are we going to do to get out of this? Well, we got out of it.
Oh, thank goodness.
So that's it. But yeah, no, I've never been stuck abroad.
Okay, no, that's good. They didn't take your passport or anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you still had the means to get back?
Oh yeah, no, nothing like that.
Okay, that's cool. I haven't been stuck abroad before. Apart from maybe missing, my flight or Eurostar or something like that.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I haven't been stuck abroad.
Cool.
Next question is, have you ever been stopped and searched?
Yes, actually. I have. And I've only been stopped and searched once. And that was funny enough. When I went to a music video shoot. Oh. Well, not a music video shoot. I was working with an artist, a rap artist, a UK rap artist, and have a meeting with him and I think, and it was me and him and then I got stopped and searched. Oh, wow. It was so random.
Was it by completely random stuff or?
I can't even remember, but yeah.
Was it on the premises?
No, it was outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were they part of security?
No, I was stopped and searched by a police officer.
Oh, by a police officer.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Me of all people. Hello. Hello. Like, I was like, oh my God.
How did that make you feel? Let me share my experience.
Horrible.
I've been stopped and searched once. And I remember I was with my cousin at the time, and we were actually going from my house to her house. And I had 2 male police officers. They told me you match the description of someone that we're looking for. And I don't remember what hairstyle I had at the time. So this was during my early teenage years. But I had a black leather jacket.
Okay.
You know, back in the days when it was very common.
Yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah.
And I remember since then, I've kind of stopped wearing a black jacket for like a good 10 years.
Really?
And I've just started to wear it again. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So it was crazy.
Not good.
Yeah.
It's very intimidating, I think.
It can be, yeah.
I understand the police have a duty of care, a duty of this is emphasis on the word care for everyone in society within the UK. So I understand that duty of care is something that needs to be taken seriously. However, from my personal opinion, I do feel that, there are sometimes, there's a few times where the duty of care hasn't really happened the way that it should have happened. It's just a shame that those things happen. Shame that there are conflicts between the society and the police.
A lot of things that's not taken into consideration as much is the impact of that.
100%.
For us, it happened many years ago, but we still remember, although it might be quite vague or something, we remember. We might not remember the day or the time, but what we were wearing, what we were doing. The impact
1,000%. Yeah, it's very impactful. It's quite traumatic, to be fair.
It is, and it can be.
But stopping and searching, like I've had not quite a few, but I've had 2 incidences with police that, for me, it was just like, when it's just like shocking.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm calling you for help.
That's it.
And I'm being treated like this.
And at the time, it doesn't matter regardless of your status or anything. It's just, Yeah. And I love the fact that you touched on the duty of care, because it's really important. We understand that, the police have a duty of care as well. Me as a social worker, I also have a duty of care as well. And my duty of care is to care for those who are vulnerable. Okay. Vulnerable members of society, community. It's very important to strike the balance between attending to your duty of care, but also having autonomy and treating people with dignity as well. So I think that's a mandatory and a standard thing across all professions. Yeah, and sometimes, the police get it right, sometimes they don't. Likewise with social workers, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't.
Definitely.
But I think it's very important that we just remember and be embedded in the heart of the community.
100%. And we're doing the best that we can do as individuals and as community as well. So it's all down to ourselves.
Yes.
Any issues or any problems or anything like that, it's down to ourselves. It's about our mindset. It's about our attitude to life. Do you get what I mean?
And also as well as perspective, because if you look at our experience.
Yeah, it's true.
Pardon me, we've been through it, but we don't have like a hatred or anything against the police, isn't it? It's an experience that we've been through, and we've been able to come out on the other side, and we just, it becomes you can say a testimony and an experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and the last question was, have you ever been oppressed? I know we've kind of touched on
Oppression. I would say oppression. That's really, really a strong word. And that's an interesting word.
It is.
With oppression, there's various forms of oppression. You can be oppressed in like at work, I feel like my manager or my colleagues are oppressing me a bit because of or discrimination.
100.
Do you know what I mean? Against me because of how I am or how I look or how I'm being or what have you. And I would say that oppression and discrimination tie in both hand in hand. Yeah. So I would say I've experienced blatant discrimination. In terms of oppression, I would say the whole society is oppressed by the government that we're under, to be completely frank. So yeah, money is a byproduct of oppression. So the more money you have, the less oppressed you are, period.
Definitely. And it's funny, isn't it? Because life in the UK has changed so much. I think since COVID, I think as a collective in a whole, as a society, we're experiencing more oppression. I would say as a collective in comparison to before, whereas there's
opportunities for under Labour. Yeah, no, definitely.
I think like a lot of the conversations, if you look at the trending topics and social issues has become such a thing, because I think we're going through it, especially here in the UK at the
100%.
So it's like everyone's informed and everyone's, knows
the scenario. 100%. The UK, obviously we're in a recession at the moment, and the cost of living crisis and COVID didn't help. So there's a lot of things that I think the government need to sort out and rectify ASAP. I used to vote Labour, very proud Labour voter. I started voting at 16 and I voted Labour. But now it's like I don't want to vote for anyone. But I try not to be that political, but I can't help it because I'm very left authoritarian, or however you want to call it. But I'm very left wing. Like, I have a lot of passion about the way that society is run because it affects everyone. It affects my neighbours. It affects my friends, my family, people down the road, whoever. So it's like, it's just important that we need to come together and not, obviously I always talk about being an individual, think about yourself, but you need to come together as a community to build up rather than separate and break down.
And break down.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's very important that for us to vote as well, although you feel how we feel, I'm kind of feeling the same as well. I think we've got that right. And we know many years ago that
100%. No,
many years ago, many people didn't have that right to vote. So we know the importance of it. We're frustrated. We're not happy. But
there's no one that represents me as far as I'm concerned.
Vote as well. I think for me, oppression is something that I deal with on a day-to-day basis as well.
Really?
Being a social worker as well. We're constantly working with people who are oppressed as well. And also with some of the policies and the procedures as well that comes from Parliament, government. We are at the receiving end, and often, most of the times, we have to administer and we work with legislation. So we're delivering those services. So a lot of the time, people don't recognize that we advocate for them to directly and for them to access services. But also when we go back to our bosses, who is, the MPs, the ministers, the members of parliament, we tell them what's working and what's not working. It's also the autonomy and ability to also work towards positive changes in terms of legislation as well, things being changed as well. And there's so many things like, because we live in London, like there's 33 boroughs in London and each borough does things differently. Although there's a collective, definitely.
I get it.
There's a collective way of doing things. But having said that as well, they do recognize that there's different needs. Different areas have different needs as well. So funding and stuff like that is all shared and delegated quite separately as well.
That's interesting.
Now, with the recession that we have as well, funds are being cut as well. So the oppression is just continuing too.
No, I get it. Yeah. I get it. It's really bad. Really, really bad. But you gave a good breakdown there.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Yeah, good breakdown. Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah. Cool. So, we're going to move on to Care to Share, which is a Did You Know? Did you know that highly intelligent people have a mental health disorder?
Is that a fact?
Yeah. It's actually taken from the National Library of Medicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's blatant because I was a bloody genius before I was diagnosed. So I probably still am a bloody genius now.
Do you mind sharing your diagnosis?
So I was diagnosed in 2012 with a condition called bipolar. Obviously, a lot of people are like, oh, bipolar, you're nuts, or that's mad, that's a madness, or what have you. To be quite frank, I honestly do not care. The reason why I speak openly about that is because, just because someone might have a mental health condition, whether it's bipolar, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, whatever it may be, we're just normal people.
100%. It doesn't define the individual.
I am normal the same way you're normal, whether you like to see it or not. Remember when you talked about perception? It's how you perceive. If you perceive me to be unnormal, then what does that make you? Because you've been brainwashed to think that I'm not a normal human being. That's your problem, not mine. Do you get what I mean? So that's how I see it.
No, 100%.
That's how I see it. Yeah,
and there's no labeling as well. That's the thing.
Yeah,
we're all individuals.
But the thing is, highly intelligent people, like, intelligence is one of those things, you either have it or you don't.
That's simple. Yeah,
I was one of the lucky ones to have it. Amen. And yourself. Amen.
Take that, receive it.
But like, what I'm saying is, but it doesn't mean you've got a mental health condition. But it's just like, it's just one of those things where if you're highly functioning and your brain's highly functioning, it can get onto a frequency where it's like, oh wow, I'm on a different level here. And that's where mental health kicks in. And, you know, mental health runs in both sides of my family. It runs on my mum's side and it runs in my dad's side. So it was kind of a bit obvious that I was going to be blessed with my intelligence and my geniusness. So yeah.
And I love how you own it, you claim it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
there's no shame or stigma attached to that because they shouldn't be.
No,
they really shouldn't be.
No, there shouldn't. No, there shouldn't. But in all truth of the matters, there is. Yeah, I live it day to day.
Yeah,
there is. And people could be like, oh no, we don't care if you're bipolar.
Yeah.
No, you do. And it's not me being paranoid. It's the fact of, like, you know, when you can just tell if someone's being genuine or that they're not. That's the thing, it's depth. Like, there's depth to, like, my personality, not just for me being bipolar, but just me as an individual.
That's it.
And I think that's intelligence and everything as well with that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, like, I mean, I love myself. Like, I love who I am. I love everything that I represent, what I stand for. Like, I love myself fully. And so it's like, with the whole bipolar thing, it's just a diagnosis that I've been given. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that's how I see it.
So, like, what advice would you give to somebody they've been diagnosed with bipolar or any mental disorder, but they feel that they're in limbo and they just going through trauma, disappointment or turmoil?
Get help. Simple. Get help. Help yourself. If you can't help yourself, seek help from others.
How did you manage to maneuver? Is it something that impacted you quite a bit, or was it something that...
Yeah, so for me, I was severely unwell in my early 20s, which was years ago. I was severely unwell and I went to hospital and I was in hospital for about 2.5 weeks. And yeah, it was just like a really traumatic period for me because I was in a really deep and dark place, you know? And when I look back on it, like, I don't even look back on it anymore. But like, if it just pops into my head, like, oh, that happened like 15 years ago, what have you? I'll be like, oh, wow, that was a part of my life. But it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, you know, things in life happen and they happen for a reason.
100%.
And I believe that I went through my ill health, came out of it and got myself better. Thanks to the Lord. I am a strong believer of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, same.
I love God like 100%. And I think without him in my life, I'm not going to lie, I've lost faith like through like different times in my life. And it's only now that I'm realizing that actually God has been by my side from day. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like,
because sometimes,
it's just a weird one because I don't want people to think I'm going through this, I'm bipolar, I've got no support, whatever. Like, I've been lucky enough to be able to support myself because of the skills that I was shown growing up as a child and also in myself. It's just been a part of me to be a decent member of society and to do what I need to do. Do you get what I mean? So it's like, like, do you know what I mean?
No, I completely. And I think for me as well, because I think I met you from what you've said.
Yeah, those were the times before your
and
I was all over the place.
Now I'm seeing you, after. And there's no difference because it's credit to who you are.
Oh, thank you.
And the type of person you are.
Thank you.
Because, you've always been proactive, you're passionate, you're a go-getter. You're independent. Like this independence we're talking about. You're advocate and stand up for what's right and what's not right.
Simple. So, I wouldn't be like, that is me. I wouldn't like, that's me. Like, period. That is who I am. So Oh, I love that.
No, it's the truth.
You.
It's the truth. It's
Bless
the truth.
you, my love. I love it.
I love that accent. But so I can't even respond back to that accent as well. Like, so yeah, humble beginnings, because we used to work together, isn't it? Many years ago. Years ago. We were literally children, weren't we?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think we was about 17, 18. Yeah, working in the Albany Theatre. Big up Paul Brewster. Big up Paul Brewster. He was our boss. That was hilarious.
No, those were the days. Those were really the days. And I think that was the beginning of my independence.
Yeah.
Because I started working there when I was 16.
Yeah.
So from 16 to 18 and I went off to uni.
Yeah.
And it was just great. It was really great because I remember those times I had, I think EMA, I don't know, in college when you had a little top up.
Yeah.
So that was my little change as well.
Okay.
When I was working in Albany, just meeting lovely people.
Yeah, I loved it.
Like media.
What I loved about working in the Albany was it was just so creative, and there were just interesting shows. I'll just sit and watch the shows and be like, this is really interesting. It was like a creative hub for me to like learn, and I really enjoyed working at the Albany. Like, it was so good. And as a creative person, I really appreciated it. Yeah.
Would you say that was the beginning of your
100%. Okay. It was the beginning of my career. But even before that, I went to an organisation called Media for All, which is no longer there now. It's like a media youth club type place. And I used to run down there and be the organiser and try and organise stuff and
so you had those leadership skills.
Yeah, I've always been interested in the industry. I've always been a go-getter. I've always wanted to do something proactive with my life through the creative medium of media and TV and film, etc. That's what I've always wanted to do. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and you've absolutely nailed it.
Thanks, babes.
You really nailed it as well.
Thank you.
Some of the things you've done as well, you've also worked on the BBC.
Yeah.
You've worked on ITV as well.
Yeah.
And then from doing research as well, there's Ed Sheeran as well.
Yeah. So I worked on a music video years ago for Ed Sheeran before he was signed. It was the last music video before he was signed. So I worked on that. I produced it with my then production company. However, it didn't get released because he was signed straight after. Okay. So it was a wasted project. Yeah. But I still was able to work with him, and he's done so well.
He has.
He probably won't remember me now, but he's done so well. So I'm very proud of that.
No, don't say it's wasted. You know, it's all experience. And you might remember you might see this.
I know. I've worked with quite a few celebrities.
Not be able to maybe link the two together as well.
I know.
A beast in the media field.
Oh, bless you. So funny. Do you know what? Life is so weird. Like, it's like when I talk about the people that I've worked with in music predominantly, they've gone on to blow and do some amazing things. Like rappers, artists, like Ed Sheeran, obviously, Giggs, obviously, Skepta, obviously. Like, they're all OGs, like in the whole UK uprising of grime and UK culture in the black community, British community. And I was lucky to be a part of that on the uprise. I'm not going to lie. Like, even when it comes to like Link Up TV, like Rashid, who runs Link Up TV, I produced his first video.
You see?
It's so mad.
You've got
listen, girl. But I fell off, I fell off. But do you know what? No, regardless of all that, like, my passion has always been music. I love music. These days it's more dancehall, but that's another conversation. But like, I just appreciate artistry from a person, like from an artist's perspective. How to perform, how to write your songs, how to like alliterate your message in a creative and in a creative and in a powerful way.
Yeah. Oh, you said that so nicely.
Thanks, darling.
So we're gonna move on to the next segment, which is Pain and Games.
Okay.
So we've got. Okay. So I've got a bunch of cards here.
Okay, girl.
And each card has a word.
Yeah.
And behind each word, if you could just say if it's a pain or a gain.
Okay.
If it's something meaningful, then it's a gain. And if it's something not meaningful, then it's a pain. Yay.
Okay. I'm so extra.
Take your time.
Guess what I got?
What have you got?
Power.
Oh,
That is a gain. Power is a gain. The more power you have, the better it is. So power is a gain.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, get one. Let me do one. Oh, I've got silence. Okay. I think I've spoken about silence before, but for today, I'm going to speak about silence in a mental health perspective. So I'm going to say it's a pain in a sense of a lot of people lose their voice due to silence. But ultimately, hopefully, everything that you've got today, you should be able to turn that around, find your voice and turn it into a gain. So, but sometimes silence is powerful too. So sometimes you need to take a step back, reflect, take it easy, take everything in. And then once you're ready and when the time's right, off you go.
Yep. Yep. I'm a cheerleader here. Like, woo, woo, woo. No, definitely makes total sense.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I resonate with that as well.
100%.
Because I spend a lot of time on my own. You wouldn't believe it, but I spend a lot of time on my own.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but I like it because I love being in my own company. I love enjoying myself by myself.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So it's like, you know, silence. Like I do play my music sometimes, but there are times when I'm just working in silence and it's bliss.
It's bliss and it's powerful as well.
It is powerful.
Yeah. Okay.
Happiness. Okay, so happiness is definitely a gain. Everyone deserves to be happy. Being happy is like so important. And
what makes you happy?
Life.
Life
Life makes me happy. Life makes me happy. Just living life.
Yeah.
That is a blessing in itself. That makes me happy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Let me get one. Oh, laughter. I would say is a gain.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a good remedy. You know, especially when you're going through pain as well.
Yeah.
It could be hard for you to laugh.
Yeah.
But once you find that laughter, it
just makes it
it
makes it better. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you're so deep. I didn't realize how deep you are. You're so deep, girl. I love it.
Am I deep? Okay.
Friends. Right.
This one's like another story within itself.
Let's get the tea. With friends, I would say friends can be a gain and can be a pain.
100.
It depends on who you have as friends, whether they're a gain or a pain. So what I would recommend, this is my advice to anyone who's got lots of friends or not a lot of friends or have friends issues or want more friends, whatever it may be in terms of your friendship circle or your friendship like life or situation. I would just strongly advise that you keep whoever you want in your life to be kept close to you if they make you feel good, if everything that you do is reciprocated to them and they reciprocate it to you. That is very important. I've had situations where I've lost friends, I've gained friends. Do you get what I mean?
Same, it
and
happens.
I think it's just part of life.
It's
really
part of life, definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, we'll do one more.
Community is a gain, because community is a gain, but it's a pain because it's like there's not really much community anymore. But we need to come back together.
Me, isn't it?
We need to come back together and help each other, say hello to each other in the mornings. If someone said hello to you in the morning, people be like, are they mad? Like, why are they saying hello to me in the morning? Just say hello. I think get your eyes off the phone and say hello to me in the morning. Not saying I'm begging people to say hello, but like it would be nice, like hello, like you know when you, do you know what I mean? Because in some countries they do that, you know.
But you know what I find as well? Maybe it's us Londoners, because have you found that when you go out of London,
England, people are more friendlier, definitely.
So
definitely,
yeah. And then let me do my last one. I've got behavior.
Okay, that's interesting.
Is it pain or gain? Oh. I would say it's, I don't even know.
Behavior. It depends on what type of behavior.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of like where I am right now in life and stuff. But I would say it depends on what it is. But for me right now where I am, I would say it's a gain. I treat people how they should be treated. I'm now learning that I need to treat others how they treat me. Because before I found myself going above and beyond for certain people who weren't doing the same. But now I've recognized that it needs to be reciprocated. And if it's not reciprocated, then bye. So for me right now, where I am, it's a gain. It's a gain because I can't be putting all my time and energy into, you know, people or things that are just not beneficial.
Yeah,
and it can
100%.
be draining. You know, it's part of preserving and maintaining
yourself,
my health and well-being and my mental health. So,
because sometimes you can have so much feelings into one person, like a friend or something like that, and then when it's not the same.
How are you? Is everyone all right?
Yeah.
But then
when people don't check up on you, you're like,
I realized that it was a one-sided. So I was like, nah.
Definitely, it makes you realize,
definitely.
Second thought. Okay.
No, thank you.
I've been there.
I hope you've enjoyed that little pain and gain.
Yay!
So, Georgina Bobb TV, I know you've spoken about it a bit. How can we get in touch with you? How can people enroll onto your mentorship and coaching program?
Okay, so my website is Georgina Bobb .tv. That's my website. It has all of my services, all of my training, coaching, everything's on there. And I also have a jobs board where I post jobs every week, from BBC, ITV, all the different indies, and I post jobs. So you can sign up for job alerts there, and you can just have a look on my website for like different opportunities and stuff. And you can follow me on Instagram at Georgina Bobb TV. And I also have a TV and film jobs one, which is TV film jobs.
Booked and busy.
Booked and busy. Yeah. So yeah,
it's been such a pleasure having you today.
Thank you for having me. I really didn't realize how the content of the podcast would go. Like, different to what I'm used to.
Okay.
But I love that. It's been very like deep, but it's also been very like conscious, but it's also been very like good and informative as well. So yeah, thank you for having me.
No, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Here at Bespoke Minds, we try to make it as informative. The aim is for us to have engaging and informative conversations.
I love that.
So
it's great.
Yay. We've come to the end of the show today. I hope you've enjoyed the lovely Georgina Bobb. We will continue to have some amazing guests as always. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe on the Bespoke Mind pages. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh yeah, we doubled down.
Don't say nothing negative to a man. You know he will take it to his grave.
But that's about emotional maturity. It's like ego, because men's egos.
I was gonna say that's what again. For me, I'm just gonna go back to social conditioning. Men are very much socially conditioned to put their egos above a lot of things.